All right, welcome to episode number 50 of the Oklahoma Weather Show. Casual fun show today where we are going to be talking about all things weather and then some. Certainly this is the 50th episode that we have done now, so things are looking pretty good here. This is the golden anniversary, the golden show, I guess you could say. Isn't that what 50 years means? So here we are now, middle of February. It's been a pretty interesting week weather-wise in Oklahoma. We actually had thundersleet earlier in the week and snow. Now we have a chance for thunderstorms later in the week. We'll talk a little bit about my nose here in just a little bit. I know it's not exactly a pretty sight to stare at right now, but we'll talk about what happened and why I have it. But first, let's talk about the weather we had earlier in the week. Brad, Jonathan, Shelby, certainly an interesting week. Actually, I want to start with Brad because, Brad, you and I were talking yesterday, and you mentioned something that was interesting. 80 degrees on Saturday, and then 24 hours later, we were talking about ice. You weren't expecting it to get that bad on the roads, huh?
Well, you know, the idea, Damon, of 80 degrees, and then a couple days later, you're talking about a wintry precipitation. I mean, a lot of times in Oklahoma, we will have snow. It'll stay below freezing, but you get enough sunshine, and even enough just scattering of light to melt off the roads, to melt off the walks and whatnot. I mean, it's now Wednesday, and that was Sunday night. I go out to my front porch. I still can't stand up on it. The last couple of days, it's been in the 40s. Saturday, it was 80 degrees. So I think this goes back to what happened on Monday, to that whole conversation we've had about impact forecasting, that sure, we can forecast precipitation type, we can forecast amounts, that's when it gets harder, but forecasting impact still remains something where we have a long, long ways to go and to understand.
Well, I don't think we're going to get it every time, perfectly 100%, especially for a city as big as Oklahoma City, where we have all these little microclimates that can sometimes set up. Jonathan, you were working Sunday night, and the first lightning bolt that you saw on First Alert Doppler HD, what were you thinking when you saw that? Were you like, yep, this is going to be it, or did you think, nah, that's got to be a mistake?
No, we expected it. I had been talking with the National Weather Service earlier in the day, and they had in their forecast discussion, and the only thing that I'll be honest with everybody that scares me so much is where you're in an icing event and you're not exactly sure, and my forecast was it's going to start as drizzle, change to freezing drizzle, change to sleet, change to snow. And my fear is when I saw a convective element, so when I saw lightning and liquid and temperatures below freezing, that we were going to have a rapid freezing rain event. And a lot of times, Doppler radar, we're getting better with dual pol, trying to figure out what it is exactly. Is it, rain or sleet or snow? But for a while there, I was getting reports that it's coming in as it's freezing rain, and I'm just worried that, oh my goodness, here we're going to have high precip rates, convective precipitation with freezing rain, and here we go, major icing event. I've worked through those before, I hate them, and I was very thankful that when I started looking at the reports that it changed to sleet really fast. It's like, oh, good, because I would much rather have a half-inch or inch of sleet on the ground than a half-inch of ice on the trees and power lines. So there was a moment there where I'm going, uh-oh.
Mm-hmm.
But I actually posted something on our Facebook page. I'm like, well, thank goodness it changed to sleet. People were like, what do you mean, thank goodness?
That's one of the hardest things to forecast, and what we, even in the meteorology community, cannot do yet, which is forecast convective winter elements down to street level. A lot of times people think that the science is so good, and even a snowburst. There was a situation years ago when in Raleigh, North Carolina, they had a snowburst that happened at about 4 in the afternoon, right during rush hour traffic, and they were only expecting about 1-2 inches of snow, and this burst of snow dropped 3-4 inches of snow right over the highways. Traffic was a nightmare. And that's one thing that I think, in hopefully in the decades to come, we can actually get down and hopefully have be able to forecast a little bit more precisely. Shelby, were you on the roads Monday morning?
Yeah, I was. It was really interesting. It's something that I've never really thought about since we did have the warm weather and the ground was warm. Of course, I was just thinking, oh, it's going to melt when it hits the ground. But instead, what actually was happening out on the roads is that first layer on the road was melting. Brad was talking about all morning, it was melting from below. So we had a layer of ice first on top of the pavement, and then the sleet piled on top of it. So the road crews are out plowing the roads, trying to make it better, actually making it worse. It was so interesting. The roads that hadn't been touched were in better shape because they had that sleet and a little bit of snow on top of it, had a little traction. And then you got to some of the bigger roads where they had plowed it and taken that layer off the top, solid ice.
Thank goodness we didn't have a whole lot of traffic out there on Monday morning with it being a holiday. I know a lot of kids were tweeting at me and saying, oh, we're going to have school tomorrow. And then a lot of kids were saying, oh, we don't have school tomorrow. It's a holiday. And I don't know about you, but that's just a sick joke to get a snow day on a day when there's not any school. Sorry, kids. But then the next day they're all asking. I got to actually enjoy it from at home. It's not often that as meteorologists, especially in this market, that we get to enjoy a good winter event, a good thunderstorm from inside. So it was nice for me just to be able to stare outside the window and just watch the sleet fall. I probably won't get that option in a long time. So I actually want to and also talk about why. And obviously I wasn't at work. I think a lot of people knew that I was diagnosed with a form of skin cancer, squamous cell carcinoma, and you can actually see here the surgery that I've had. And this is actually a big improvement. I had it on Friday. They went in, and what they do is it's actually this surgery called Mohs surgery, where they will go in one layer at a time. And what they want to do is they want to take all the cancer that they need and not take any bit of good skin, because your face, it's important real estate, and especially when you work in television. There's you don't want to have any type of big time scarring going on here. So they would go in. They took a layer of skin. They would then put it under a microscope. They would look for cancer cells, and then if they found any more, then they would go back and say, all right, well, we know where we got to concentrate now. About 50% of the time, they can go in and get it all in one swipe. For me, it was a little bit deeper. They actually had to go in and do 2 swipes. So he went in, came back, said, okay, there's still some cancer left. They went in, they burned it out, got a hole, cut it out, and then stitched it. And I have about 17 stitches, I believe. And actually, the cancer is located where you see this black dot, but the stitching goes all the way into the corner of my eyelid. Brad, you and I were talking about a while ago, how do you know what skin cancer looks like and what it does? And actually, I pulled up a picture from about 6 months ago, because what I thought that I thought I just had a pimple, except a pimple shouldn't last for 6 months. And what would happen is actually I had this dot on my nose. It would bleed a little bit, and then it would immediately heal. So I thought, oh, well, it's healing. It's got to be okay. And then it would heal again, and then it would kind of bleed a little bit, and it did this process back and forth. So finally I was talking to Paul and Jess in the makeup room one day. They're like, you may want to get that looked at. I was like, yeah, you're probably right. So I went to the dermatologist, and they did a biopsy. But this is what it looked like. Oh, wait, hold on. That's the wrong picture. Sorry, okay, I have a picture right here. This is what I look like actually after the surgery. You can see all of the bandaging going on there, and I bruised quite a bit. Anytime you actually work right near the eye, you're gonna end up getting quite a bit of bruising. And I want to see here. Hey, Brad, Jonathan, and Shelby, do y'all know if you can actually do a screen share of something that is not in Google, like a picture, or do I actually have to have it in Chrome? What do y'all know?
I think so. If you click screen share, Damon, it'll ask you where you want to share from.
Okay. Tell you what. Let me see if I can actually do this here.
The entire screen. Maybe if you share the entire screen, just minimize the hangout.
I might actually end up having to do that. Let's see here. Now that I run Google Chrome on this computer, it actually it kind of takes over. Let's see here.
Google takes over?
Yeah, Google takes over my computer.
This will probably shut down. This show will probably come to an end.
They take over my whole computer. Let's see here. What are y'all looking at right now? Can you all see something?
Shelby.
No. Yeah, I see Shelby.
That's a cool effect. Yeah.
That's a cool effect. No, it's not. Oh, there goes Brad. Oh, I don't know what's... Stop. Let me just hit the stop button. Oh, I'll try to pull it up eventually. For some reason, I have a picture, but it doesn't want to actually.
If you want to minimize the video window and then try to share your screen, that might work.
Let's see if I can do that. Let's see if I can do that. We're getting somewhere. We are getting somewhere. Okay. Nope. Sorry. Present that. We're still learning Google here. No. Let's see here. No. For some reason, it doesn't want to do it. Oh, bummer. Well, I'll just maybe one of these days I can actually get it to pop up. I don't know why. Why it's
Email
doing
it to
that.
yourself and then
I will.
maybe Google.
Tell you what. I'll find a way before the show is over. Let me stop this right here. Before the show is over, I will find a way to pull it up and get it going. So, what's happening, guys? What's Shelby? What's new with you?
Well, I got a question. Did it hurt?
Did it hurt?
They took a knife to your face. Were you sitting there going?
No, they numbed it. Well, actually, so I don't do surgery well, and even the thought of just like a little needle going in kind of sends me on kind of gets me a little shaky there. So they gave me 2 things of Valium, put it under my tongue, and that did the work. And actually, Chris Lee was there. So Chris Lee, I'm gonna have to go back and actually look at the video that Chris Lee shot and see if I said anything that sounded weird, because you never know what's gonna come out of your mouth when you're on Valium, you know.
Well, we haven't seen it on air yet, so there's no telling.
Yeah, no kidding. He might have it like in the, be nice to me or else.
Do not air fault.
Yes, there might be some blackmail that he's setting up. No, they numbed it up pretty well, and it didn't really hurt until later that afternoon once the Novocaine started going away, and they got some pretty heavy-duty medicine. Now tomorrow I get these stitches out, hopefully. That I'm a little nervous about because you can see how close it gets to my eyelid right there. And the doctor was phenomenal. I mean, he did a great job. And I've actually had a lot of people message me and said, oh, Brandon worked on me as well. Dr. Reinhardt. So hopefully the removing of the stitches won't hurt too much, but I don't know. We'll find out. Hopefully I'm back on air on Sunday. That's my goal, is to be back on Sunday. So the swelling has come down by quite a bit. It's just this whole thing, and obviously I can't put makeup on it. I feel bad for the family. I haven't been able to shower for a while. So, but take care of your skin, guys. Take care of your skin. So, but
Is
yeah.
this from all of your high?
So what, Shelby?
I said, is this from all of your college days tanning?
You know what? Actually, I was never a big tanning bed user. I jumped in the tanning bed maybe a handful of times before spring break in college. I mean, what kid did it, But no, I was outside a whole lot, and I mean, you never really know. I mean, especially, I was lucky that I got it right on the tip of my nose, and that I had line of sight to it at all times. But a lot of people get them on the back of their neck. They get it behind their ears, places that they can't see. And so they let it sit there for years and years and years until all of a sudden it's gotten pretty bad. So now, of course, the problem that I did was when the doctor tells you that you have squamous cell carcinoma, the first thing you want to do is go on Dr. Google and read what Dr. Google has to say, and Google can scare you. I mean, there's just a lot of medical things that you should not be looking up, and they had listed that about 7,000 to 9,000 people die every year from this type of cancer that I had. So of course I focus on that stat, and then once I look at the percentage of confirmed cases that everyone every year has, it's less than 1%. So certainly, you look at the big number, 7,000 to 9,000. Oh my gosh, that am I going to be a statistic? And then all of a sudden you look at the big number. But this surgery got about it's 99.9% effective. Nothing's going to be 100% effective. But this right here was the best option for me. They actually asked if I wanted to do radiation. Radiation was only 90% effective, or the surgery 99.9% effective. And obviously you'd say, well, I want to do the surgery. Some people don't like needles. Some people don't like even the thought of going in the surgery, and sometimes their bodies aren't even capable of surgery, especially if you're elderly. But the thing I discovered with radiation is that if you radiate cancer, it's a lot more aggressive if it comes back. So this gets it all good, and the bruising's coming down. I have a little bit right there, a little bit right there, which is nothing compared to the picture I showed you earlier. And hopefully all these scabs will come off, and stitches will be out tomorrow, and I'll be as good as new in a couple days. So go get checked. Go get checked. Y'all have good insurance.
Wear sunscreen.
Wear sunscreen. Yes, I know. Exactly. Yes, wear sunscreen. So Jonathan, Brad, what's new in your all side of the world?
Just working.
Just working.
Yeah, yesterday we had a few pop-up showers, and I thought, oh, look, there's a little sleet, but I stand corrected. It wasn't sleet. There was a slight convective element to it in the process. The way sleet forms and the way hail forms is two different methods. Sleet starts as a snowflake, falls through a warm layer, melts, refreezes. Yesterday, it was hail. Our fast unit, Corey Inman, out of Ponca City, he sent us a picture, and he said, check out he said hail. And so we had that, and then a lot of if anyone wants to go to our weather blog on KOCO.com, we had a lot of ominous clouds yesterday, and it's because the rain shaft was all the way down to the ground. It looked kind of like tornado lookalikes. So,
yeah. Jonathan, did you get any reports of any grapple either? Because I noticed the shaft on some of those was awfully white, where it almost looked like a snow shaft. And sometimes the pellet snow can fall, and I don't know, what was it, in the upper 40s?
It's 52 here. Yeah, I didn't see any reports of grapple, but grapple and hail are two different things still. Because grapple is a form of a melted snowflake. So grapple is more similar to sleet than sleet and grapple are similar to hail. So, but anyways, if you go to the weather blog, I posted a couple pictures of SLCs. You guys know what SLCs are, right?
Our favorite.
Scary looking cloud. So, if you saw go check it out, because if you would have seen those pictures in May, you would have been like,
oh, I saw it. We were out walking the dogs yesterday, and I remember thinking, like, wow, those clouds are really, really scary. Yeah, they were hanging down low. Actually, I even saw the National Weather Service, Jonathan, sent out one of your pictures that you had.
Oh, there you go. How about one thing I've been watching this week? How about Boston? We complain here in Oklahoma City, man, this winter we've only had 6 inches of snow. Most of it was November and December. Actually, I think we had most in November, 3.5 and 2.5 in December. So we've had 6 inches. Guess how much Boston has had?
How much?
96.
96.
I think they've had more than that too since I looked up that stat. That's 8 feet of snow, and over 58 inches of it all this month. And what's today? The 17th, 18th. We're not even all the way through the month, and they've had about 60 inches of snow this month alone, for a total of 8 feet of snow. I can't fathom that.
Does anyone know how much Boston usually gets?
Not that much. I could look it up.
Yeah, my statistician is not here today, so. Okay, hey, I think I was able to. I took your advice, by the way, while Jonathan was talking. Let's see if I can show. Okay, this is what the cancer looked like 6 months ago. All right, do y'all see that picture? Do you see a picture of my wife and I?
No.
Oh yeah.
You do? Wait, hold on. Okay, you see it?
Oh yeah.
Okay, look at my nose. Do you see like a red dot on my nose?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, that was the first time I ever noticed I actually had something on my nose. And of course we're headed down to the Dominican Republic, where I didn't put sunscreen on every day. Got a little burn. I totally regret doing that now. But yeah, so that's what it started out looking as. And that was about 6 months ago. So I just went 6 months with having kind of just a little dot kind of like that on my nose. But in television, we wear makeup. Makeup can cover it up, and then you kind of forget about it until the next day. But yeah, so that was it right there. So, okay, that was a picture I was trying to share. Glad that. Thanks for the advice. Whoever told me to email it to myself. Whoever did that. Jonathan, you still looking?
I think it's about 44 inches.
44 inches. Okay. So
I don't know if this is from an official. There's so many different weather websites out there. This is not NWS, but it just says average annual snowfall for Boston, 44 inches.
Good deal. Good deal. We one thing I've discovered a lot on my Facebook feed this past week are the number of Euro 240-hour model sites that have been sent out. Let's just go ahead and just say it right now. This is a transition time of the year where the weather models are going to give you everything that you want. If you want snow, there's going to be a model that's going to give you snow. If you want severe weather, there's going to be a model that's going to give you severe weather. But please, please, please do not share and click and and just send out all sorts of weather information that is anything more than I'd say 5 to 7 days out, because at this time of the year we're going to have all sorts of snowstorms that are probably going to magically appear in Oklahoma City, and then all of a sudden 12 hours later they're going to be completely gone. So I'll make sure I get that out. So Shelby, this is your Friday. You have anything planned this weekend?
Hey, I get to find out if I'm having a niece or a nephew tomorrow.
All right.
I am so excited. We have a niece, but hoping for a nephew this time.
Gender reveal party. Are they going to have one, or are they just going to tell you all?
Well, we did the big party, the food coloring inside, the cupcake, and all of that last time. So it's just kind of a family dinner this time, I think.
Nice. Now what do you want?
Yeah, a boy.
You want a boy?
Yeah, my poor brother's the last Hayes in the family. So my sister-in-law is like, well, we're going to have a boy. I think she would have been fine with one child, so I'm hoping for her that it's boy.
Need someone to carry on the family name. Need someone to carry on the family name. Brad, what do you have planned?
Well, I kind of take every day what's coming next. I don't really know at this point. Seems like with the kid in the house, you've always got you make big Valentine's plans and somebody comes down with strep throat or something like that. Never telling what they bring home from school. Hey, Damon, I have an idea. A way to get this the most watched show ever if you do a baby reveal on here. Is she sleeping? Baby.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah.
Okay, you
No,
two
I
talk.
think so.
You two talk, all right? All three of you all have a conversation with each other, and I'm going to go get her.
Go get her hair done, put her in a dress, whatever. She'll look cute no matter what.
How fun.
You guys going to be at the Tornado Summit next week? Everybody making plans for that?
Oh, yeah. We're excited.
I think next year. What's that?
No, go ahead.
Oh, I think next year, we heard from Roger Hill that they're going to try to merge it with the National Storm Chaser Convention, which makes a lot of sense because so many people go from central Oklahoma to Colorado where they have that every year. So this sounds like something that's only going to get bigger and bigger for us. Oh, okay, here we go. Now the real weather show begins.
Okay.
Take your screen grabs.
All right, here we go. Okay. Let's see if I can. Wait, this is. I was never trained on how to Google Hangout and hold a baby.
Oh.
Wait, my banner's in the way. Oh, I know. Okay, say hello to Avery, everybody.
Oh.
Where is it? Wait, go that way. Okay. There's Avery.
She's so cute.
There you go. Okay, she's like, I was sleeping, Dad. Okay. All right. Okay. Now, is this going to make this the most watched show, Brad, do you think?
Hey, man, babies.
Everyone loves babies, right? I don't know what to do.
That's all we should put on Facebook anymore. You say a tornado is on the ground coming your way. Facebook will show it to 107 people. But, man, if you have a baby with a tornado in the background, just on a TV or something, it's going viral.
That's how you make something go viral, right? Actually, that's next week at the Tornado Summit, where I'm doing a group discussion with a couple other meteorologists, and it's the kind of all the good, the bad, the ugly of social media. But yeah, basically, if you want a tweet to go viral, somehow, if you can have a picture of a kitty and a tornado together, it's going to go viral. That's what we discovered. So, or a baby. Or have a picture of a baby. That is true.
So everybody send us your animal and baby pictures of watching Damon, Jonathan, or Shelby on TV. They will get retweeted. They will probably get posted on TV.
That's probably the most popular local picture. Anytime you can submit a picture of someone doing something with KOCO on in the background, it'll get some love on TV. Anyone want to add anything? This is just kind of a casual show.
I stand corrected. 43.7 inches for Boston average annual snowfall, and that's coming from my old weather intern, Chris Bagaski. He sent me a Facebook message. So he linked me. Yep, 43.7. Thank you, Chris. And he's a meteorologist out in Colorado now.
And you know the thing about Boston is that I bet their biggest snowstorms usually don't come until March when nor'easters start really cranking up. As a kid, that's when usually we had our biggest snowstorms on the East Coast. Those were the March storms. So, it's tough to be in Boston.
It makes you wonder if they're going to lose a little bit of dynamics from the Great Lakes, because the Great Lakes actually have more ice on them now than they did. I just saw this on Facebook than this time last year, and it was a record for the amount of ice on the Great Lakes last year. And now apparently there is even more ice than just a year ago, and so that is going to probably cut off a decent moisture source that they've been tapping into over the last couple of months, because if you take enough cold air and run it over a relatively warm body of water, it'll only help to intensify some of those lows.
That's definitely a possibility, but if we want to go back, hey Brad, let's go back to Dr. Brotak's 300 level atmospheric science class. If you have Miller A or Miller B type storms, if you get a Miller B that forms in the Gulf and just goes right up the Northeast, you can certainly just get a bunch of
ocean of moisture there.
Yeah, okay. get a good fetch.
I have an answer for you.
What's that?
The average snowiest month for Boston is January at 14.9 inches of snow. They can get big snow in February. March, they had one year they had 38.9 inches. That's a lot of snow. But obviously they broke the record this month for 50. They're over 58.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I'm trying to look through all the numbers on my phone.
That's a lot of numbers.
There's a lot of numbers. They have every year going back to, I don't even know here. Oh, this is just back to 91.
Now, if you look at Oklahoma is actually split up into three what I call winter zones, where southern Oklahoma, their snowiest month is usually January. Central Oklahoma, it's more of a January, February. But you get northwest Oklahoma and the Panhandle, it's March. Usually storms that would bring us heavy rain and even thunderstorms or snowmakers if you get that wraparound. So March is definitely Woodward, Guyman, Boise City. That would be their snowiest time of the year.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It makes a lot of sense, because on the Front Range of Colorado, it's March and April, the biggest lows. That's when those lows really just start to wrap up, and of course another reason why we start to get severe weather.
No kidding. I didn't know that. All right, guys. Anything else y'all want to add?
Avery needs to join us.
Wait, what's that, Shelby?
Avery needs to join us every week.
She needs to join us every week. This is
nap her, don't you?
This is usually her nap time, but yeah, you can see she's barely keeping the eyes open. We actually had a pretty good night of sleeping last night. We slept for 3 hours, then got a feeding, then slept for another 3 hours, and then got a feeding, and then slept for 2 hours, and then the sun was up. So, yep, now but she wants you all to know that she has lots of different hats and that she loves hats. So.
Does she have hair? We've never seen a head before.
Oh, baby girl.
Oh, look at that.
She got some hair.
Yeah, so she's got a little bit.
She got a little bit of hair. Actually, and this is about the same amount that she had when she was born. So she is now 2 weeks and 2 days, if anyone's keeping track. I don't know, at what point, Brad and Jonathan, you both are parents, at what point do you stop doing weekly birthdays? Oh, she's 2 weeks. Oh, she's 42 weeks.
I would.
It's a while.
With our second born, I think with our firstborn, my wife was taking pictures of him every single week with a little chalkboard and writing, how many weeks old. Not so much with our second born. I know on Monday it was his 4-month birthday because we had to take him in for his shots. But I don't know if we really took the little board that says, their name and how many weeks. So I think it's different. Firstborn, you're probably going to do it till they're 2 years old, and then maybe a year old. And the second born would be like, we've already done this.
We've already done. Well, wait, if I do the math right here, let's see here. I am 420 months old, and no one seems to care in this house. I don't have any pictures.
Good there.
I don't have any chalkboards. Stuff. All right, y'all. Anything else y'all want to add, or? No? Everyone's quiet?
I guess just now need to start thinking about severe weather. It's right around the corner, y'all. Hope you're all ready.
And we're going to have some good topics coming up in March and April and May after the Tornado Summit is over. We are going to be putting together a 30-minute weather show that is going to air in early March. That's going to be for everything you all need to know about severe weather season. And it's going to be a pretty good show. This is not going to be your severe weather show where we talk to you about how a tornado is formed or anything. We're looking at how to stay safe and be weather aware in a digital world now that we have the ability to get all the weather information that is basically what we need to plan our day on our cell phones. What's the next step in severe weather forecasting and staying safe? So we're going to have some great topics. We're going to have a great show. We're going to have some really good guests that we're going to be meeting at the Tornado Summit that's in downtown Oklahoma City next week. So we're not going to be here for next week since the summit will be wrapping up, but going into early March we'll be having a bunch of new guests. So we'll see you all then.